Hugh's reign has truly begun, yet House Starfell's claim to Dorne is fragile, its blood unproven, and its rule seen by some as illegitimate. Hugh now turns to forge his dynasty into the rightful rulers of the South, by fire, by gold, and by sheer will. From the heart of restored Valyrios, Hugh works to transform this restored ruin into a kingdom of wealth, power, and influence. But this reign will not be remembered for coin alone. For the first time in Starfell history, Hugh will unleash dragonfire in open conquest. With Green Comet at his side, Starfell prepares to burn its name into legend, proving to the world that it does not simply hold dragons, it has the will to wield them. Welcome back once again, everybody. It is Hugh Starfell's time in the spotlight. 23 years of age, feeling good, things we love to see. Of course, a dragon rider of Green Comet. We have consecrated blood in the family now. We do have some physical traits as well as our wife. We were hoping for some of these to get passed down, but unfortunately, most of our children at the moment are only picking up consecrated blood as we would expect, but none of our actual congenital traits. Caswin, though, is looking interesting. He's already rowdy, so we have him training inside of Marshall, and soon enough we will have him squiring to a knight as well. Straight away, we have a council invitation from King Rhaegar, the Ugly Fire. He is not in great shape at all. He's currently wounded. He wants us to be his master of ships. We will happily accept, and we'll expect to get taken off the council very shortly. The buildup of Valyria is going fantastically. We're already coming up on 13 tacks here just alone, and we have the volcanic mine fully finished. We've built up some simple windmills, a village baker, as well as a brewing house. I'm going to continue filling out these slots with likely a focus on tax, to be honest, but then we'll actually start upgrading all of this across the board as well. Oh, Prince Baelor the Cruel Targaryen is dead. He was ruling Dragonstone, so Fearcrax is now inside of the dragon pit inside of Dragonstone. So he hasn't actually flown away. I'm curious as well, is this dragon calm? No, it isn't. Somebody pointed out in the comments previously that based on the dragon's actual makeup, if they are owned by somebody and not actually in the dragon pit when they die, apparently it's not guaranteed that they'll just immediately fly away and be loose again if there's a dragon pit to go to and they have the right temperament. That could have been what happened here, or the dragon was already in the dragon pit. But either way, Prince Baelor of Dragonstone is now dead. The next ruler of Dragonstone, oh, it's fallen straight back to the king himself. We have another son here. We're going to call him Hugo. Also just consecrated blood, so inheriting those positive traits has not really happened with this generation, but that's still fine. We'll take them being healthy with no negative traits. Oh my word, my wife has been murdered. Lady Leonella has been murdered. We need to find out who did this. Perhaps I should be ashamed, but in truth, there was no love lost between us. Finally, I'm free to start my life anew. I could have sworn she was our soulmate. Evidently, we didn't really like her, though. Well, that's not the worst thing in the world, I suppose, given that we actually get a stress reduction instead of increase here. Does mean that our alliance with the Vale, however, is now broken, which is not fantastic, because while we have dragons, we don't look fantastic in terms of just base military strength. This is interesting, though, because we've divorced before, but here we're actually widowed. Our fertility is go down, we get a tiny health penalty, and we may not marry. Interesting. I didn't actually know that was the case when our spouse died, but good to know. Thankfully, we at least have some children already, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But it looks like just at 24 years of age, we may go the rest of our life unmarried. The good news, though, is that we have another dynasty legacy. I'm going to pick up Sons of Our Fathers here inside of legitimacy. This gives us +5 dynasty opinion. We can espouse legitimacy intent to do that at a funeral, feast, and grand wedding. Speaking of funerals, I am also going to immediately host a funeral in the capital for our deceased wife. I think that's only proper. The granddaughter of King Rhaegar, Princess Rhaenys, has taken to the skies on Anciligon. That is a dragon that has been ridden by kings for quite a while now, actually, but now it is in the granddaughter of King Rhaegar's possession. Oh, we were just looking at it. Just as Rhaenys actually started to ride Anciligon, he then passes on. Flew away in the direction of Valyria at age 116, and Anciligon is dead. That is actually non-ideal at all, because that is another female dragon that no longer exists in the world. And I thought this was Green Comet. It isn't actually, though. It is Spyrax here that was the child of Ancilligon. Meryn Campyron, my tutor here, is trying to seduce me. I don't think so, my friend. You will abandon this foolish endeavor immediately. But is the funeral over? We have gained some legitimacy as well as piety from this, but the most important thing is that our wife, Lady Leonella, has been put to rest. And speaking of being put to rest, we do have a little leprosy spreading throughout our realm here, dangerously close to the capital. Again, I want to enter seclusion, but I don't want to do it too early because, much like before, I was always secluding myself and then the plague would never actually reach us. I do have a very strong feeling that this will, though. Our sister Janice Starfell can marry. We could marry her to Lord Elben Arryn of the Vale. There is an 8-year age gap there, which is non-ideal, but I do really need an alliance at the moment to back ourselves up, so I think we might go for this. Of course, we are removed from Master of Ships of the Iron Throne immediately, as was to be expected. And we've actually ended up in a war here. Incredibly, it is just a count, an adventurer band, and another count involved in an alliance against me for Elmcastle claim on the Lordship of White Dunes. I'm not sure exactly where this claim came from, probably just through some marriages and whatnot, but we should be able to deal with this without a real issue. Oh, incredible. There's an election for a new bank director. Could we gain control again? Yes, we do. Okay, amazing. We will deal with that in just a second. First and foremost, though, let's deal with this adventurer band up here. I am leading my dragon here, but we're at the back of this sort of army train at the moment. Here we go. Get me in there. Get me in there. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. Our current roll is 244, with 240 coming from Terrifying Dragon's army support, compared to their 121, because they do have Scorpion aerial coverage. That's actually a good way to visualize it. Let me zoom out here so we're not just hearing the battle going on in the background. So they get 115 to their battle roll because they have those Scorpions, which are like the anti-dragon weapons, but then our dragon gives 240 overall. So it is far from a perfect counter. It counters it at about like half of what's necessary. That may also scale up though if they have more Scorpions, not entirely sure, but we should win this without an issue. Managed to capture the other army here as well. We can just keep moving in across here. They don't have enough time to actually embark, and we do relatively have them trapped. Oh no, they do have enough time to embark. They're gone. See you later. Okay. Now they have managed to swing around from the south here by taking to the seas, but our army can make it in before they even have a chance to actually siege down that holding. Ooh, this is a dragon I don't think we've seen before, and it is also another female. This is being ridden by Haegon Targaryen of Dragonstone, and it is Valsrix. Slow does give it a severe health penalty as well as a reduction to combat effectiveness, but it is cooperative, calculating, and supporting. There we go. With the end of that battle and capturing some important people, we can officially put an end to this wild claim. I don't know what they thought they were going to get away with here, but they will lose their claim, which is the important thing, and we will get some benefits out of that as well. Now that that war is over, though, we do have the ability at long last to become the legitimate House of Dorne. After holding the sands of Dorne under your house for generations, House Nymeros Martell is finally no longer seen as the true ruler of Dorne. House Starfell is the true ruler of these lands in the eyes of the lords and small folk. From the deserts of the Red Mountains to the shores of the Summer Sea, Dorne is ours forevermore. We'll gain a bunch of bonuses from this, as well as possibly some other little decisions and whatnot that we may have now that we are officially the legitimate house. Let's do it. Incredible. Now then, since we can also take flight when we're actually traveling here and just move incredibly quickly, I am going to go on a pilgrimage here over to the Starry Sept, and then we're going to hit some dragon lore sites along the way as well. And then I'm also going to try, where possible, to see if I can customize the route to maybe even go to some locations where there is a wild dragon, just in case we get some opportunities there to possibly try and capture it. Let's take flight on Green Comet and see what we can find here. Everybody is getting left behind because we are flying. Rhaegar Targaryen, another grandson of the king, is now taking flight on a Mount Dweller. Haven't seen that dragon in a while either. What is this? Fire Obsessed. That's an interesting one. The power of fire has enraptured Rhaegar, drawing him to it, whether for spiritual reasons or for less honorable purposes. So interestingly, at this pilgrimage, it's only myself and my sister, because we're the only two dragon riders in our family that could get here from the skies. The problem is that she now feels a call and wants to actually join and become a holy sister, divorcing her husband and leaving to join Lady Floris's court. We cannot accept this. We are vengeful. We're going to have to say drop that nonsense immediately. She will grow closer, forming a rivalry with us, as well as losing 50 opinion of us, which is non-ideal. We don't want to rival in the one other Starfell that has a dragon. And we have an offer for Caswin, our player heir here at 9 years old, to squire to Sir Victor Bush here. An interesting character. Brave, patient, sadistic is non-ideal. Generous, intricate web weaver, trained fighter, and traveler. A part of me wants to accept this, but another part of me wants to look for a knight that maybe has better traits like brave, just, and whatnot, and patient. Ideally, traits that could possibly set up Caswin to be a legitimate Sword of the Morning. So I will decline for now, but once we're back from this pilgrimage, we'll immediately look for a better tutor for our actual son. Just in case though, I will teach my son dragon lore straight away now, just in case I forget or it's not available if he actually leaves to become a squire. This is also a decision I don't remember seeing before. Ward's martial drill. If we have more than one commander trait, we can pass one on to our actual ward. Oh, I can educate him. I could take him as a squire. He'd gain the trait knight under me. It seems relatively unusual though, and I'm not sure if I want him to. Our prowess is good, but our martial is pretty bad. I might actually have him squire under Sir Timoth Wendane here, a character with extremely good martial, decent prowess, also brave, has some commander traits as well, and is of course a trained fighter. So you know what? You can actually squire under my own personal champion and sworn shield. I will also quickly just teach dragon lore to all of my other children as well, so I don't forget. We can petition the king once again. He's actually on the throne this time, so he shouldn't just refuse to see us. We also no longer have to ask him to actually support our legitimate claim for Dorne. So I'm actually going to have him try and just urbanize a county. If he wants to fund a city for us, that would be incredible. We'll fly straight back there. We've just returned from our previous trip, visited Harrenhal and whatnot, so our dragon lore has increased quite a bit. I will customize this route as well. I do want to keep hitting where the wild dragons are, just in case we come across them. Like, I could regret that horribly if we come across a monster of a dragon, but why not? I can no longer petition King Rhaegar to fund the new city in my realm. Nevertheless, I have traveled all the way here to King's Landing to gain his ear, and I will not pass up on such an opportunity. I could ask that he fortify my borders, or simply fill my coffers. I'm not sure what fortify my borders would actually give me. We don't really need the gold injection right now. Let's see what this would actually do for us. I apologize, but for the good of the Iron Throne, I must refuse your request. I'm going to try and see if I can convince him. I don't think I will, though. 40% chance he accepts it. Let's see. Doesn't look like he did. We didn't get an event after that, but I assume if he did do something, it would have come up, so my guess is he was unconvinced. I'm actually going to remove Timoth Wendane here as our son's squire, mainly because he's now infirm. He's no longer even able to be our sworn shield, so we'll remove him for now, and we'll find somebody else for him. Darren Starfell, our cousin here, can take care of him. Oh, another dragon has passed on. Dreamfire here, 233 years of age. Another female is gone. That is not fantastic to see. We've picked up quite a few traits inside of the actual intrigue tree. I'm actually going to rotate into diplomacy now, and we're going to work our way down the diplomat tree here. I'm going to pick up the majesty focus for the time being. The goal here will be to actually get to the 10k prestige we need, and then actually start a scheme to steal one of these eggs. Nope, that's the bank. Where is it? We're going to start a scheme to steal one of these eggs that is held by Magister Clea Elbow High here of the Priestain family that have continued to have these eggs get passed down. The absolute best case scenario here would be for us to have those eggs, have it in the dragon pit, have it hatch, into an actual female that could then possibly lay even more eggs for us. To be quite honest, other than that and waiting for a dragon to come to us, the alternative is to actually try and start pick up some claims on the land around us, like the Reach or the Stormlands. Try and find some happy medium where ideally it won't be split when it comes to succession, and that we just ultimately control more land for those dragons to actually wander into. Like Tessarion here, for example, that we would love, is at the moment all the way up next to the wall. Nothing in this world will replace Leonella's zealousness, or so I thought. A late night spent wandering the seedier parts of Starfall leads me to a lively tavern with Gazzaro. My lord, I will show you how to have a good time and to forget all of your sadness, he proclaims. The sounds of the sins around me flood my senses. I take a sip, raising my goblet to toast the crowd. So interestingly, we can say this will be a night to forget. Your debauchery may have consequences. We'll lose some stress because we're an eager reveler, but we would lose the trait widowed, allowing us to marry again. Alternatively, we say a toast to Leonella, my beloved. Now, this is an interesting one because I don't know if there's a way ever that we can independently get rid of Widowed if we want to. I would like to have some more children for the sake of the dynasty, but we're not necessarily lustful or anything. We're stubborn, vengeful, and patient. And I wanted to verify, but Lady Leonella was indeed my true soulmate. So in this scenario, it's a toast to Leonella, my beloved. Now, Daria's marriage fell apart with the Lannisters. That alliance is no more. We're going to have to find a different alliance here. Lord Raynar Tyrell does make sense to get an actual alliance with the Reach. The thing is, though, the Reach has about 35,000 men. The Stormlands only 27,000. I think he may have come to power fairly recently. I'm trying to figure out who makes the most sense to get an alliance with versus where we may actually want to start some expansion later. I wouldn't mind taking some land off of the Stormlands, but possibly the Reach as well. I think what I'll actually do here is go for a matrilineal alliance with Torwin Goodbrother here, of House Goodbrother, that currently control the Stepstones. That may be of use to us later. We've now filled out all of the actual slots inside of Valyrios, so next up I'm actually upgrading Tartarax here, the actual natural dragon pit we have, mainly for the increase to holding taxes for the duchy, but the extra fort level also helps. Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, at 31 years of age, has been murdered, leaving Rhaenal in the dragon pit inside a King's Landing. Okay. Now, it does seem as though the actual confederation of the three sisters has broken down over here. We have Myr, Pentos, and Bravos all independent, as well as Tyrosh down here as well. So there could be some opportunities to possibly do some wars over here. We do have the ability to do a Draconic Conquest of the kingdom, which sounds pretty incredible. The main reason for my expansion here as well is less even for the increased tax, although that is nice, and power. It's also just to actually control more land overall so that there's more places that we could possibly capture dragons from. You know what? Let's do it. I want to see how this works. We're going to draconically conquer the free city of Tyrosh. The king wants us back on the council as Master of Whispers. That's perfectly fine. At least that makes sense this time. That's our best stat. I'm going to put myself and Green Comet leading one army. We'll put Lady Irene in charge of the other, though. Caraxes is actually ridiculous. 409 combat effectiveness. For comparison, I'm pretty sure myself with Green Comet has about, like, I think it's 180? Yeah, 180. So Caraxes is almost 4 times as powerful as Green Comet. We're going to move over to the capital anyway. I think I will call in the actual Vale here to help out just in case. We are so progressed at this point of the game that almost every castle and fort holding is just ridiculously high, but our dragons may make a difference there. Now, if we look at the actual siege view here, we can see that it is an extremely high fort level. It's going to take us a while to siege this down. We do have the ability to use dragon, though. We can send in Irene to decide how to use Caraxes in this siege. It does mention that they do have siege weapons, including some actual scorpions here, which are anti-dragon, and will make it a lot more difficult for us to actually use dragons in this. So I might hold back Green Comet for now, but we'll send in Irene with hers. That's actually taken the fort level down from 28 to 20. We have moderate dragon siege destruction. That'll do for now. I'm going to leave Irene sieging down the capital, but my army over here has found a different siege over in Bleak Point where they have no siege weapons. So let's now send in Green Comet. Now, it seems as though, well, they don't have as many direct siege weapons here. They do have readied Scorpion, so it's not fully defenseless. I stand before the walls of Zernosh, my dragon Green Comet at my side. Our men surround the holding, the defenders trapped within, cowering behind their walls. Though we would doubtless force them to surrender with enough time, no walls can protect them from dragon fire. It is not without risk, but I could ride Green Comet to unleash his flames upon the castle and bring this siege to a much quicker end. Let's start off with the easy targets first, softening their defenses. This will give us minor siege destruction. It is giving us another warning that they do have Scorpion in placement, so there is a risk, but let's give it a go. That did work as well. It's taken the fort level down by 4, which is great to see. Oh, they have counterattacked, but the Veil is there to support, and I sent in my other dragon as well. There we go. Quite a few battles there. We did have to move the men around off some of the sieges, but thankfully we protected the main siege in the capital, which should finish relatively soon. Oh, here they go again, but the Veil is straight on that to help defend. Okay, there we go. The capital siege is finished. We're up at 90%. Just to siege down some more of these titles and we should be good to go. Let's use the dragon again on Zernosh here. We struck the easy targets last time. We could go for moderate damage. No Mercy the Keep will burn will give a major dragon siege destruction for an entire year. Or we could do nothing left behind but Ash and Ruin, which will kill everybody inside and turn the holding into a ruin. Let's go for moderate dragon siege destruction here. There we go. That's reduced the fort level down to 5. Just 6 months left. And there it is. With the final 2 sieges inside of the free city of Tyrosh, the war is at 100% and we can enforce our demands of our first ever Draconic Conquest. There we go. We've just immediately gained control of all of these holdings as well. The first thing I'm going to do is build a new building inside of the actual slave camps here, considering we will not be having slavery inside of our realm. I'm going to replace that with a windmill, and then we'll try and hand some of this land off to another Starfell. There we go. So I've landed quite a few Starfell members throughout the land here, and I'm going to give our actual brother, Orivel Starfell here, the High Lordship of Tyrosh. There we go. That is a nice bit of land secured from us just across from the stepstones there themselves. Should be quite decent to actually have some expansion going here because we can just do all of the wars we want to expand into it, but they'll be a lot more hesitant to declare on us because that would mean declaring on our liege, which would be the actual Targaryens themselves. So we're actually protected while we do some expansion here, which makes quite a bit of sense. We can also usurp the kingdom title of the free city of Tyrosh, which I think I will do. Let's grab this anyway. And then I am curious how this will actually work in terms of succession. It should all still go to our actual primary heir, given that we are primogeniture. So it shouldn't actually be an issue for us to hold both of those titles. So my main goal with expansion over here is just to continue picking this up. Our vassals may even do some of the work for us here as well. But ideally, just try and have as large a footprint as possible for places for us to actually capture dragons from. Do let me know in the comments if there's anything that would be super interesting for us to do, like Mir, Pentos, Bravos. I feel like we have a good reason to attack any of them, given that they all practice slavery. But if anything makes sense or is a good idea for unique buildings or decisions or something, do let me know. What is the Veil doing with lands over here? Very happy with how that went, though. Both Hugh himself, as well as me as a player, is gaining more and more experience of actually utilizing the dragons. Obviously, up until this point, it was tons of questions around how to actually get them. But now that we do have them, our primary goal is to get more of them. That's what we're working towards, sealing those dragon eggs, and also just expanding out our overall footprint so that we have more opportunities to capture them as well. It's going to be very interesting learning to use them in sieges, however, as it does seem very dangerous with the amount of warnings the game was giving me about actually using the dragons when there are scorpions in a fortress. I'm not sure if the combat effectiveness of the dragon will actually improve their likelihood of dying. I don't know if that's just how much damage they can do, or it also actually factors into if they'll be shot down or not by a scorpion. Tartarex has finished upgrading as well over in Valyria here, which is great to see. We now have another building slot we can put in here as well. I think workshops makes the most sense. I could build more things towards fort level, but realistically, I think I'm happy enough with our castle as it is. We can continue to upgrade this as well, which should be fine. Not to mention, we still have many other holdings we can build in here as well. As a matter of fact, let's get another castle going inside of this holding. Who are you? Tanda Storm. Daughter of King Rhaegar and a bastard, I am writing to all the lords of Westeros to let them know the truth that has been hidden for far too long. Despite what you may have thought, I was in fact born to the union of Shara and King Rhaegar. I ask that you and the rest of the realm recognize this new reality and the implications it brings. Interestingly, Shara is from House Tarbeck. I wonder, is the king actually trying to get involved in this dynasty because he knows that they've taken some of the dragon eggs from his? For now, I'm just going to say that is certainly interesting. No immediate effects, but I will actually pin you in case you got something interesting as well. It's predicted to be very easy, but I'm going to actually attempt to see if I can fabricate a hook on King Rhaegar himself and possibly gain access to his dragon pit. Now, I don't know if we can just sort of sneak away with some eggs that are in there or possibly even some dragons, but I do want to see what options are available to me if I can access his dragon pit. Oh, look at this. The king himself is sending a response letter. This is like Twitter, but in Westeros. Let it be known to all that Tanda has been instructed to make a public and legally binding statement renouncing any and all claims to the throne or related titles. Any lord or lady found aiding her to avoid or otherwise argue their way out of this demand shall be deemed a traitor to the realm and treated accordingly. Seems a fair response. Oh, and then here she is recanting her statement. My birth may be fact, but it changes nothing of my station or rights, and never have I claimed elsewise. King Rhaegar of the Iron Throne is the only lawful and legitimate ruler. I am not but his loyal subject. Peace it is then. Look at this. We have somebody who will accept being a vassal. Lord Menyo the Brave Brownsaw here, who's actually a eunuch. Absolutely. If you want to accept normal feudal obligations, you are more than welcome. It's over here next to our recently conquested Tyrosh. Oh no, there's another one. Hannah Storm, another bastard, saying that I was born for the union of Shara, another woman from House Tarbeck, and King Rhaegar. He is just making the rounds inside of House Tarbeck. Oh, and look at this. He's dealt with her as well. Let it be known that she's been ordered to join the Silent Sisterhood. Why are they sending out these letters? What do they think is going to happen? Oh, look at this. A love of gardening. Time has passed, and yet I still feel a pang when thinking of my dear Leonella. How can I move past this love? I spend much of my newly free time outdoors, letting nature become my companion. Perhaps I will plant a tree in honor of my love that will grow. I will lose the trait widowed, and then I have a chance to pick up herbalist or gardener. We lost the widow trait, and we've gained the herbalist trait. That's actually very nice. So that does mean that we are in the position again where we can now marry. Just out of curiosity, there wouldn't be any dragon riders around looking for somebody, would there? Nope. Honestly though, I think I might give it a second. We are still only 34. Let me know in the comments if any of you think there's a specific marriage type that we should go for or something to look for here. I know that people mentioned previously trying to marry like other dragon riders or people with dragon eggs. So I could have a look as well to see if there are any dragon eggs held by somebody that we could marry or a family that we could marry into maybe. Obviously, the majority are still held by Rhaegar himself. We could try and marry into the Targaryens, but they tend to marry off their children incredibly quickly. There's House Tarbeck as well. It looks like the majority is going to Franklin here. And he's married off down to his grandson, who's also married off, so not a huge amount of openings there. There is Magister Jeremo here of Nabisfaros, House Estatis. This seems to be a new house to actually hold dragon eggs here. They have the obsidian dragon egg. Your eldest daughter is unmarried, but I don't think you'll marry her to me, would you? Oh, no, you would. Maybe we send this proposal, at least for now, in the hope that Nevia here ends up actually picking up the dragon eggs. The thing is, though, it is appointment succession in terms of who actually holds the title, but I'm not sure what actually happens to his artifacts. There are some people with claims on it, including House Priestain, which it seems to have come out of initially, so that could be an option. I'll see if there's an opening there. There may not be. Either way, it's fine. We are building up to stealing one regardless, but if we can get one through a marriage, that would make a ton of sense as well. We could also just try and abduct this man and see if we could grab the egg from him that way. We have many options. We have many options. I will leave it to you in the comments to let me know what you think is best there, or we just go for the more direct route of make the claim and start the scheme. I have been deepening my bond with Green Comet over the past while as well. We have reached Dragon Bond level 1, which has actually given us another +1 diplomacy, which is very nice. Our son and heir has come of age. How do you look now? Honest, patient, arbitrary. Not sure where that came from. Vengeful, skill tactician, rough terrain expert, Consecrated Blood, obviously, knight and skilled fighter. They grow up so fast. He's obviously knighted as well, coming of age, which is great to see. Meanwhile, Maycare takes to the skies here on Idonax. Another female dragon. They have so many females inside the King's Landing. Do let me know in the comments as well what you think is best for an alliance for our player heir Caswin here. Alliances are obviously important to us, but ideally we could get those through our extended family members, and then our alliance here should ideally be something that helps in relation to dragons. Like, there's no actual dragon riders straight up that we can marry, for example. If I have a look here, the Dragon List Dragon Rider is that one. If we look at actual Dragon Rider, there's rarely any actively available here. So, and then we've had a look previously at what it looks like in terms of trying to marry somebody for an egg, but let me know if I'm missing something here, or there's an angle that would actually be of benefit to us. We're going to keep our scheme against King Rhaegar here to fabricate a hook to get access to the Dragon Pit. We'll keep deepening our bond with Green Comet as well, and likely do more conquests across the Narrow Sea to try and hold more land. So if any dragons make their way over here, we have the ability to capture them. With that, though, I'm going to leave this episode here, but super happy that we're actually starting to see dragons in action now, in sieges and whatnot. We are building up our strength. We need more dragons and more dragon eggs still, but we are on the right path. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe. A massive shout out to all of our channel members helping to support the channel and everything that I do here. And as always, a very special shout out to our Emperor's Hands tier in Faustbread and Wyatt Laird. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.